Podcast, the Dani Dots Pod, where every single week I pop on here and give you guys a bit of a life update, some good decisions I've made, some questionable ones, and I don't know, everything in between. So I'm actually down to my last 20 episodes before I stop podcasting, if not indefinitely. I don't know. But no, it's been a busy week. I dropped a bomb last podcast. I apologize. I think I had just more questions that was like, just be safe. And look, I get it. So I'm going to explore more of that because I think I just need to debrief. I don't know. Sometimes when I pod, I just kind of like talk normally. And then I just think, oh, fuck, maybe I've gone too far with that. That was probably what happened last week. My bad. I had a busy week anyway. I had an Estonia guest. I think I need to start putting a map up on the wall and putting pins in where my guests are from because I'm starting to lose track. And this afternoon I have a guy arriving from Poland. That's not to say what's happening in the world right now is slowing down people traveling. It's definitely not the case. So yeah. I'm still down my rabbit hole with whole foods, which I just wanted to let you guys know basically means eating food that hasn't been engineered in a factory, so no processed shit. I wanted to rein it back in March and eat food that your grandparents used to make, and I am loving it. So there's also been some heavier family news I'm going to touch on, my concussion clinic update. I've been starting my Thailand vaccinations and a lot of questions around this trip. Why am I going to Thailand solo for my 39th birthday? So today is a bit of a catch up, work milestones. I'm getting more comfortable with myself as I get older and some plans for the long weekend ahead, which I am very excited about. All right, let's get into it. So Mr. Estonia last week. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I can never be fully prepared. And sometimes I think, a guest is gonna, explore the region or gonna just, get out there and not be in the house so much, which is fine. And this was quite a funny story. I'll tell you guys because I told my brother and he literally almost spat his beer out. He was in so much shock. Anyway, Mr. Estonia was here for 2 nights. And the first night he was here was fine. Second day, he decided he was going to go to Milford Sound. He's going to get up between 7 and 8, hit the road. It was like, if you're not familiar with this area, it takes about 4.5 hours to get to Milford Sound from Cromwell. So it's a big day there and back. And he told me he wasn't on the spectrum, but I believe that he was just using broken English. And he said to me, I will be back by 8 or 9 p.m. And I was like, yeah, totally fine. Awesome. Go and have a great day. Enjoy your trip. Drive safe. That's what I always tell my guests. So anyway, he rocks back up between 8 and 9 like he said he would. And I thought that was really like timed. How did he do this? And I said to him, how was Milford Sound? He says, I took a wrong turn and I ended up in Gore. Gore's at the bottom of the South Island. It's not scenic. Well, I mean, to some extent it probably is, but it's not like Milford Sound. And I was just sitting here like, you took a wrong turn? I'm sorry. The guy had like an electric car with all the mod cons. It was a rental car. And he had maps. And I was like, well, how did this happen? I don't know. So anyway, what I've been finding lately from my Airbnb guests is they are here for a short time, not a long time, not just staying at my place, but in the country in general. So you have people flying in on a Saturday, flying out the following Sunday. So a good, 7-8 days, nothing more, nothing less, which is crazy because back in the day when we used to travel, we used to make a real effort of it. We'd go, and especially I'm saying this because Estonia is 26 hours from Estonia to Auckland, New Zealand. However, it's now 48 hours for him to get back to Estonia. And I am learning a lot about travel and how people are getting around and stuff, but it just throws me off completely to think you've traveled for 26, 28 hours, you're here for 7-8 days, and then you're going back again. But a lot of people seem to be saying they're in relationships or they've got a wife and kids back at home. And I have a lot of guests that tag team with their significant others, which is, I get it, like financially, do you even want to come out to New Zealand with your kids? And, sometimes it's more difficult to pawn the kiddies off to the grandparents or whatever. But that to me is just crazy. And they're all saying the same thing. Oh, yeah, when this is where I decided to go when I get back. My husband, my wife, they're going to go to Australia for 10 days. And it just seems to be very unbalanced. So I was like, okay, so this guy's here. He's done a rush job, an absolute rush of an adventure. He's driven the whole time. He's flown from Estonia to Auckland down to Queenstown, picked up a rental car, done a huge chunk of the South Island in 7 days, been here, there and everywhere, which I get it. I was talking to him about why he rented a rental car as opposed to taking the bus, and his explanation was it was a whole lot cheaper. However, I don't really think it is. I think if you are on a bus, you probably have more time to enjoy the scenery, but I don't think driving is going to, it's a bit of a distraction. Especially, he looked knackered, and he actually had said to me the day he was going to Milford, I'm going to get up between 6 and 7. And then when I came out of the kitchen and he wasn't out of his room at 7 a.m, I was like, okay, he slept in. But it's kind of a compliment to me because it just means that my facilities, the bed I have provided for him is comfortable. He had a great sleep. He was like, shit, it's really quiet here in Cromwell. How nice is it to be here? And I was just thinking, yes, exactly my point. So, I don't know, you guys. These Airbnb things are really, it's a bit of a learning curve, and I am enjoying it. So we'll see what Mr. Poland this afternoon, who's here until Friday. I'm a little bit stressed about this because it is 3 nights, and normally it's 1 or 2, but 3 nights is you have to prepare for, because I don't know what this guy's going to be doing. I mean, by all means, he could be off gallivanting and exploring for days and days, but that's fine. I am doing this whole Foods thing. I've got lots of questions. People want me to provide recipes. It's not so much that it's a recipe-based meal. I'm just enjoying lots of colours. I'm having a huge emphasis on 5+ a day. I think as you get older, you sort of start stopping the whole fruit and veggie thing. In hindsight, I've never really enjoyed fruit. Fruit's not really a big thing. My mum is obsessed with kiwi fruits and bananas. She'll eat those all day, every day. It's crazy. But for me, I definitely would enjoy vegetables more than fruit. However, I know that there is some health benefits to fruit. So anyway, I have been trying to implement that more, and it makes sense in Cromwell because we are a great wee town that has lots of stone fruit. You've got your apricots, your peaches, nectarines. And so I am enjoying that. I'm eating a lot more fruit this month, that's for sure. All of my recipes, I've been, stripping back completely. I've been making things from scratch, lots of really high fiber breads, lots of seeds, multigrains. The toppings have all been alternate between cottage cheese, eggs, avocados, bacon, just all the really good, maybe not good fats is what I'd say. Maybe not bacon, but oh well, I am who I am. And as for the dinner side of things, on Sunday, I actually got my mum over, I don't know, she was just kind of making comments about how she wanted to hang out more, and I feel like sometimes the conversations with her not living here, we kind of are a little bit vague with each other. So she had made the conversation that she wanted to stay over last Friday and last Sunday. So I said to her on Sunday, do you want me to cook this fish curry that I've been talking about? She was so apprehensive, you guys. I think if anyone says fish curry, you just don't know what to expect. So she was making herself busy on the Sunday, and she was pottering around, and I said to her, do you want me to start tea? And she was like, oh yeah, if you're free. And I was like, And I said to her, we are making the fish curry. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, no, I'll give everything a try. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So I started cooking it, and she came out of the garage and she looked at me and she was like, is that what we're eating? Is that the smell is what we're eating? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, oh my gosh. And so I served it up, gave it to her, and she said to me, it looked like restaurant grade food. And I was like, I would never serve you something that I didn't like, because I'm her daughter. Of course, I need to like, sort of the same things. And B, it just presents beautifully. I can't even describe it. So anyway, she ate a plate and a half of this freaking fish curry and then took the leftovers to work on the Monday. I was like, are you joking? So it made me feel really good, because not only was it something completely different that she tried and she enjoyed, there were so many vegetables in this thing. I mean, zucchinis, carrots, mushrooms, you got your red curry paste, you got your coconut cream, you got onions, fish, honey. It's just like the most delicious thing, and I just can't stop talking about it, to be quite honest. It's kind of like the recipe that has made me crack 2026 and just I don't know. I will be like not hungry, but I will eat 2 bowlfuls of this damn curry, and I don't know why. Is it something in it that I'm depleted and I need? I don't know. Anyway, that is where I'm at with all this. We are still, 15 odd days away from the end of the month. So, 2 more weeks of really great food. I've been eating lots of like fruit on charcuterie boards when I have people over, being social, those kinds of things. Really pulled back on the whole, social wine type stuff, but still enjoying a bit of fruit, a bit of nuts, those types of things. I've been making banana cakes, you guys, and every single week I make one. It's turned into kind of a hobby because I'm kind of perfecting the art of a banana cake. Well, it's not really a banana cake as it is a banana bread. Anyway, the first one had a shot of espresso in it. The second one had this like maple syrup coconut kind of stuff. And oh my gosh, every single time I give it to Mum, she makes a comment like she knows that it's not just banana. She's like, there's something else in it. I can't put my finger on it. So it's been kind of a bit of an adventure, but there's something so homely about having a cake with a wee cup of coffee and just, I don't know, I've been sitting out in the backyard enjoying just the outside sunshine lately, having a bit of cake and the coffee, and it's like, oh my God, I'm so about to turn 40. Oh my God, I can't even deal. Anyway, the family stuff that I've got going on right now, my great uncle has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He's got a bit of a time frame on his life at the moment, which is a bit stupid, hate this for him because he's such a pillar of strength. He is 89 years old, so he's not a young bunny, but he's also been incredibly healthy for his 89 years, so this has come at a bit of a shock. His daughter, however, she is a hoot. She called me on Friday and she was very excited about getting married before her dad passes away, which I was excited for. I thought, oh, okay, we're going to have a wedding. She then rings on the Sunday and says to me, I was drunk, I made some bad choices, we're not doing this, I'm scared. Might I add, her baby daddy of 30 years would be her husband, and she's still so afraid and timid to get married in front of family and friends, in front of her dad who's about to pass away. Oh, I can't get her to do this. I'm like, just do it. I want to go to a wedding. But furthermore, her brother is the brains and the creator behind Little Fat Lamb alcohol, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It is a pretty famous thing in Australia. It's, I don't know, how the youngins get drunk quite quickly. It's high alcohol volume to sugar drink. But yeah, I made the joke, oh, just ring your brother and get your brother to sponsor the wedding. That would be a nightmare. Oh my God. She's the type of person, like, I really want her to get married in a dress. Doesn't have to be white, just in a dress. But my gosh, you guys, she would tear shreds off us. There's absolutely no way this chick's getting into a wedding dress. Absolutely not. The fact that she's marrying her baby daddy that she's not really been with for 30 years, but I mean, they've come back to being in each other's lives is just absolutely beautiful. So it is what it is. It's kind of like the cherry on the top of a shitty situation, but we're processing it as a family, and that's fine. Yesterday I started my concussion clinic. It is going well. It's not to be worried about. I am fine. It's just been about a month since it happened. But they have been making big comments about how I am being really proactive about being an adult, about my health and my body. I mean, normally if you bang your head, who gives a shit? Whatever. I'm on blood thinners, so it's a little bit more hasty. So I did have to kind of think about things a little bit more and be a bit more proactive in getting a solution around it. In saying that, I have started the vaccines with my doctor for Thailand, and this conversation came around because of the concussion clinic. I had gone to have an appointment with my doctor about the bang, and then I ended up talking about my travel, which I don't know if you guys are aware, in New Zealand, some GPs and doctors have travel clinics, which are so informative. I walked out of my consultation yesterday, and I was just like, I just feel really like, not like nothing will happen on this trip, but I feel really relaxed and at ease because I'm covering all my bases. I think if anything, my mum's really shocked because normally I'm just like, who gives a shit? I'll just get on this plane and just party or like just eat all the food and stuff. However, Asia is a little bit more, you've got to be more onto it. There's so many things that can go wrong. And I think, yeah, this travel consultant has made it a little bit more hyper aware of it. It's not cheap. Don't get me wrong. This has been like an added expense that I was shitty about. And I did kick off. I said, oh, it's cheap to go to Asia, but all the things to get you prepared for Asia is not cheap. Just to let you guys know, it was $130 for the consult yesterday, which was half an hour. And the vaccines that I've decided to choose, being typhoid and hepatitis A, are $130 each. So, and then on top of that, she's given me a travel first aid kit, which is like a lunchbox of all types of things. They basically go through and talk about traveler's diarrhea and all the sicknesses you can get from the bacteria. If you were to get bitten by a monkey or a dog and it turns into rabies, you've got 24 hours to live. I have actually decided not to get the rabies injection because I'm not going to those places, but it was on the list, obviously. I don't know, my lunchbox, my first aid kit lunchbox entails 10 different items. I have a really great prescription that says the above patient is carrying the following prescribed medications for personal use while traveling. And one of the big things here, which I'm feeling very relaxed about, is they have given me little quiet sedatives for the flight. So obviously I'm not too proud of the fact that I am flying for 12 hours. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to kick me in the ass. But I'm not really thinking about that as I am thinking about the hours before I board, which I'm going to catch up with some friends in Auckland, and then all the adventures I'm going to have on the other side of that flight. So I just have to get through it, and they've given me something to relax me, which I did say to the doctor yesterday. I think I'm a little bit more relaxed about this because I only have to worry about myself. And that's not to say the people I've travelled with in the past have made me stress about these things. I don't give a shit. But if the plane went down, I don't have to worry about them surviving. I just have to worry about myself, put my own bloody mask on. No, but honestly, I think I'm just ridiculously at ease, and that's not even a front. Like, I'm not faking that. I just feel really happy and just content with my decisions that I've made. And the discussions, I'll let you in on a wee discussion I have with my doctor, which still cracks me up. My doctor specifically said, hey, Dani, look, if you meet someone and you happen to have sex with them in Thailand, please be very careful and use protection because there is an HIV breakout in Asia. And I was like, ew, you put me off. And she was like, I can give you a couple of boxes of condoms. And I was like, are you joking? I'm not backpacking around Asia with boxes of bloody condoms. Like, I'm not asking for it. I actually said, this is more like an eat, pray, love kind of like a trip. In hindsight, it's not, let's be honest. So anyway, lots of questions around this trip and why I'm going solo. This, obviously we've talked about this in the podcast. It's been 18 months in the making. I've yet to pull the trigger on the trip until just, the past month or so. The trip is solely, I would say, 80% ChatGPT has organised this for me. I have given up on travel agents and all the shit that comes with all that. They're not helpful in any aspect of this. I got more help from a few friends and family than I did anything else. So, yeah, and I had a few questions around how I did the hotels, which I touched on briefly last week. Basically, my little hack, which has saved me a shit ton of money, which cracks me up. I went on to ChatGPT and obviously I had a bit of a plan where I wanted to stay, and I said in these towns, Bangkok, Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, Phuket, can you give me some hotels that are luxury, some that are budget, and some in the middle that might be to do with something I enjoy? Obviously, for some reason that stupid AI remembers a lot of things. So it spat out some things. I went over all these types of places, 4 hours. I didn't really go too much into detail about the hotels, and that's not the point here. Like, I'm not really too bothered just because I am hopping around. If someone said to me, you're going to spend 10 days somewhere, I might have looked into things a little bit more. I had a few friends say to me, oh shit, this is like, when you go to think you brought something and it turns out to be like the Temu of hotels. Like, it's just shit. Anyway, what I did was I went on to Trivago, which is a hotel recommendation website. Found the cheapest website that had that hotel on it. Went through Shopback. If you're not familiar with Shopback, it's where you can hop on and go through. It's basically like a portal. So you go through the Shopback website back to the booking.com or Expedia or Angoda website, and you make your booking whilst the Shopback transaction is watching you do this booking, which is not weird, don't worry. And then all of a sudden, once you've made the booking and you've gone through the cheaper option of all the websites, you've obviously used Trivago to find that cheap website. They then give you a difference in cost. So Shopback will offer 15% if you go through booking.com and you make a booking. I don't know how it all works. It's really weird. But anyway, I started going for not just the budget hotels. I was actually going for the more deluxe rooms. Not intentionally, but the way I see it is that if I was getting 15% back and there was a 15% price difference between budget and deluxe, you go deluxe because you're going to get the money back, which is going to be like the budget room anyway. So basically, I've made all these bookings. I think it's like even 3 flights I've done through this. So 3 flights, 7 hotels, maybe 8. Basically, 60 days after I get back from this Thailand adventure, I get $460 back if I stay in these hotels, which is what I have, I don't know, saved. It's so weird, but it made me feel really good. I haven't gone back and looked at any of these hotels. I just basically went on a whim and I've told everyone this is what I'm doing. Everyone was a little bit worried. Is she staying in hostels? Is she paying $10 a night to shower above a toilet? Absolutely not. I have literally just, I was actually done with it. The whole process was exhausting. It was keeping me up at night thinking, you just have to start booking things. If you don't start booking things, you're not going to go. So all of a sudden it was just done. And I haven't really thought twice about anything except my brother from another mother. I love him. There's a big story around how he met me. But anyway, maybe I might say it. It's quite fun. I said to him, if you were to go back to Thailand, and he goes there all the time for frisbee golf, and you were to choose a hotel or an experience where, you know, I'm turning 39 and you think I should do it, what would you say? He specifically said Ark Bar in Koh Samui. And I was like, are you freaking joking? Like, why would you put me there? And then I started looking at Ark Bar on Instagram, and it's a party venue that is partying from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. And I don't know. And I said to him, why? Why? He says, Dani, not only is it really sociable and fun, you deserve to meet people and have these experiences. But what you don't know and you don't look into is the fact that this airport is in a flyover zone for planes that are taking off outside of Koh Samui. And I was like, oh, okay. It all makes sense. I'm actually super happy and excited about this because I don't know. It's just like it all made sense. And I was like, shit, you got me there. So look, there was other hotels and the hotel I had chosen was one of those like really quiet, like spa wellness kind of hotels. And I was like, that's just not where I want to be for my 39th. I mean, maybe my 42nd where I'm just sort of like, I don't know, meditating in the garden or something, but not 39. I'm still in my young social era. And like he said, you know, you deserve to meet people. So let's do it. So I am going to go. I am doing that. I definitely am going to keep that booking. I have made a decision. I'm going to go and party for 2 days in Koh Samui like a banshee, like a bat out of hell, because that bloody hotel doesn't close. It's basically like staying above like a big, I don't even know. I can't even describe it. What I've seen on Instagram just freaks me out, so I just think, who cares? Why am I doing this solo? It's more for my own independence and to have my own adventures. I don't have anyone else to say in anything. It's just, this is on me. If this goes to shit, it's on me. And that's okay. It just means that I can make those types of decisions. And my mum's actually been really quiet about it. I sort of mention things every now and then and she's quite timid. And I'm like, why are you so quiet? She says, I don't know. This is just weird. It's like every time you want to go somewhere, someone goes with you. And I said to Mum, yeah, but I have kind of said that this is what I'm doing. And a few people have said, can I come too? And I've actually said no. So this is not because no one wants to come. This is just because I deserve to explore the world and do it by myself. It's only now she's kind of turning a corner and thinking, oh, okay, this is actually going to be okay. She'll be fine. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm like jabbed up with all these vaccines and got my little travel first aid kit that I'm fine. I really don't know. It's just one of those things. I have to do it. And you cannot wipe the smile off my face. I'm so ready for this. It's actually ridiculous. I think it's like 56 days to go or something. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, enough on the Thailand topic. It's just gonna happen, and in 100 days I'll come back and I'll just be able to tell you guys all the stories. I am not going to be posting podcasts whilst I'm away, not for any other reason except I don't want to take my laptop. The laptop's not coming to Thailand. I just don't need the stress of getting that out at customs. I've got 9 flights. I don't need that shit. So basically just going to record whilst I'm away and then not post until I'm back, which is fine. Just means I get to stretch out that my podcasts this year are going to stretch further than September, which maybe is a good thing. I don't know. In saying that, I am up for a very busy April, so we might have to stretch it out a little bit more than September just because I have a lot going on in April. Anyway, lots of questions around last Friday and my whole stance on leaning into being more comfortable with myself. Look, I don't know. I think being 39 almost and 6'3" and gangly, I'm like a baby giraffe, something had to give. And it's so weird to sort of put it into that kind of perspective. But for so many years, I was super worried about things, like I'm just one of those people where I'm like, I don't know. I just worry about every part of what I look like. So to actually start just leaning into being more comfortable with myself has just shaped and just turned things around so dramatically. I sort of am embracing the whole you can be sexy, and it's so empowering. I love it so much that it made me sort of spark up a little bit. I was like, you know what, I'm happy with myself, and that's probably what you can tell is just it doesn't matter how these types of sexual experiences come into play. The fact is that I consented. I am happy with what I like. I never look back on things and think, oh my God, that's going to look terrible, or like I wasn't prepared for that. Like I'm the type of chickie who goes out and everything is just organized. Right from like I actually pride myself on Friday from getting up early to go to the gym. Have that everything shower so that you've got fresh hair, you've got fresh skin, you can put on like really lovely moisturizers, you smell nice, it's coming to the weekend. People kind of move into weekend mode and they're, dragged from Monday. They don't put any effort in, they smell, they don't wash themselves. I don't even know, it's a whole thing. But I always prepare myself for the unexpected, and I just have always done. So the house is always tidy in case the house party or the pub party comes back to the house. I'm always, completely happy in myself, except I have this little like trend what I do, and I know I do it, so I'm just going to share it anyway. It doesn't matter. I always go out and I forget to do something, and it's intentional, except for something that might bother me where I just don't feel myself and I have to fix it. Take, for example, 15, 20 years ago, my mum went to the pub without putting mascara on. Mascara, of all things. She actually went home and put mascara on, and she came back to the pub. She was like, oh my God, I was like a different person. I said, yeah, it was weird. I went to the pub a couple of weeks ago without lip gloss. I had no lip gloss in my purse, and I was like, what the fuck? I actually just couldn't function. It actually just threw me off completely. Some people go out and they don't shave their legs, and then they might hook up, and it's like, oh fuck, my legs aren't shaved. That's gross. So yeah, I kind of think it kind of pulls on the fact that if you're not prepared and you don't feel good in yourself, then it stops everything completely. That's not to say that, recently I have been a little bit dirty and not, made myself feel good and got myself organized for in case I meet someone or whatever. I don't know. But these are just the little things that I intentionally do that I just sort of, so you're not completely perfect, you might forget. I would never forget fragrance, so I'm not going to say that, but maybe like putting on a necklace, something that people wouldn't care, but to you, you'd just be like, well, I'm not completely put together. And I pride myself on that. I work from home all the time. I wear bloody track pants, hoodies, slippers. When I go out, starts at the top and it goes all the way down. I've got my hair done. I've got perfume. I've got makeup. I've got body shimmer oil. I've got jewelry. Sometimes I put a nose ring in. I don't know. It just trickles down my body of all the things that I like to do. And then on the off chance, one thing is missing. And I know what it is. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, no one else would know what it was. That's not to say I don't forget to wear my underwear, because of course I do. Like, that's probably the one thing I get pulled up on all the time is like, yeah, I always, it's kind of like one of those weird conversations where people sometimes don't put focus on underwear. But for me, I'm just like, nah, I could go anywhere, but if I'm not in comfy undies, it's not happening. Because I'm not going to be sitting there picking out a bloody thong all night just because I'm going out, comfy undies all the way. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to touch on the fact that I have been at my job, my actual 9 to 5, for 3 years last Friday, and last Thursday I had a huge win with a case I'd been working on with a huge entity in New Zealand. So I felt like I came full circle in my role, which made me just so happy. I was like, shit. Not only did I nail this situation, the next morning my whole team was celebrating, and I work completely remotely. I don't have a head office. I don't have friggin' anything. It's just me. So it felt really good to be, everyone was quite excited for me, and I just thought, oh, this is just makes me feel so humble and happy. However, today, Tuesday, I have been out of my job at Vodafone Queenstown for 10 whole years, which is absolute insanity. But it also shows the level of grown-up status of, who I've become, because the role I've transitioned to outside of that is so much more serious and formal. I really enjoyed the fun side of Vodafone, the learning, the corporate level of working. It changed the whole trajectory of my life. And I never really had a career path that I was ever interested in. I wasn't that girl that came out and just, of the womb or whatever, and decided she wanted to be a firewoman or a marine biologist or something like that. I think for me, I'm quite flexible in all sorts of roles, and I don't really know why telecommunication was actually that path. And, well, I was coming off a wrist accident in 2008, I think it was. No, maybe it's 2006. I broke my left wrist, and I was on a huge recovery plan with that. They had me doing housekeeping, and God knows why, because you have to use your hands for housekeeping. And I applied for the telecommunications role at Vodafone, and my boss at the time actually gave me a chance. He knew nothing about me. I have no idea to this day why he even hired me. We still talk daily. He's always giving me huge praise about this, that, and the other. We've got such a great work-life balance. It's crazy. But he actually gave me a chance and was really incredibly ready to have a more adult level job. And those were the days when smartphones were just kicking off. I remember when the first iPhone came out was when I was basically putting on my boots to work at Vodafone. And there was one story which still sort of makes me laugh. It was my first day. Someone came in and they wanted to use one of those Vodem internet sticks on the side of their laptops, and they asked me how they worked. I said I'd go and get one out the back and do a demonstration. I went to the toilet. I didn't come back. I went and hid in the toilets outside the shop, above the shop, and I didn't come back for half an hour. I mean, it probably looked really terrible, but I'm pretty sure my co-workers picked up the pieces and went and helped and got it all sorted and whatever. But I did not know how to talk about this stupid internet stick. So it was oh God, what a stuff up. I would say in all of my jobs on the first day, I suck at doing something. And when I moved into my job that I do now, on my first day in doing that job, I had to call someone and give them some news. And I don't feel like it was good news. So I just burst into tears on the phone. So maybe it's just me. I get the speed wobbles on my first day in my jobs, but whatever. Anyway, I sort of touched on the fact that I was going to mention the story of how my brother from another mother met me. It's quite an outrageously fun story, but maybe 2000, he was dating a friend of mine up in Christchurch. She was a friend from school. They dated for a wee while. He then took off to Canada. I didn't really hear much of him. I didn't really know who he was. He was just my friend's boyfriend, and I didn't live in Christchurch, so I didn't really get to know him or anything like that. Anyway, one random night I was working at Vodafone and I got this text message, and he was basically just like, "Hey, Dani, are you still in Queenstown?" And I said, "Yeah, mate, why, what's up?" He says, "I just got off the plane from Canada. I'm in Queenstown. Can I borrow your couch for a night?" And I was like, "Are you joking?" He stayed at my house for a year and a half after that, and we are so ridiculously close. He actually looks more like my brother than my actual brother. So there is a joke that we are related. But he will tell anyone. That's my sister from another mister, which I have a few people that say that. But he's kind of special to me just because he actually hooked up with quite a few of my co-workers at Vodafone. He's an absolute hoot of a guy. He's the kind of guy that would put away a 24 slab of beer and enjoy himself any given time. So the fact that he's sending me to Koh Samui to a random party bar is not a shock. But I just think this is the type of guy that will put a backpack on his back and go and, backpack around Asia with 2 pairs of undies. Yet he's given me advice on, these types of things. And I'm thinking, fuck, we're different people in that sense, but not in a terrible way. I need to lean into being a little bit more relaxed and flexible, which I'm leaning into my sexuality and being comfortable. I can lean into being fun, can't I? Anyway, all right, that feels like a good place to wrap up today's episode. It's been a really reflective, strange week. 3 years in my current role, 10 years since leaving Vodafone Queenstown and realising how much those moments actually shape the path I'm on now. Life is a little chaotic at the minute, but in a good way. I've got travel plans, visitors from around the world, and a few small side quests planned for this long weekend coming up. Thanks to everyone for listening to my podcast, the Dani Dots Podcast. If you enjoyed the episode today, share it with someone who's also figuring life out as they go. And remember, sometimes life only makes sense when you look back and connect all the dots. I'll see you guys in the next episode, and bye for now.